Today marks 1 year since the Calley Railworks in Springburn closed its gates for the last time. I remember being here a year ago and being with the workers and their families, people who had worked here all their lives and retired, and it was a feeling like no other. It's an experience that I'm going to take with me all my life. 300 well-paid, highly skilled unionised jobs were snuffed out that day because our government's failed to take action.
My name's Les Ashton and I was the Unite convener down here at the St Rollops Railway Works in Springburn, more affectionately known as the Calley. Next weekend sees us approaching the first anniversary of the closure of the depot. It's been sitting empty for 12 months, which in our eyes is an absolute scandal. At the time, the Scottish Government refused to get involved in the campaign to save it and facilitated the closure of the depot. The lack of involvement and the lack of desire to save 200 highly skilled jobs here in Springburn. 12 months later, we're still waiting on some sort of intervention, some sort of communication from the Scottish Government to say that the depot will reopen, that jobs will be created. Scottish Railways need a Springburn depot. They need the skills that were here 12 months ago. They need to be brought back to Springburn and to Scotland. So we're saying again to the Scottish Government, we need the investment, we need an industrial strategy going forward for Scotland's railways, and opening up the Calley again is the way forward.
We're back here a year later to say that this campaign to save the Calley and Springburn's railway engineering is far from over. The workers here are determined to see this site reactivated as a railway engineering centre of excellence again, and the Labour Party and the activists and trade unions from the Unite trade union, the RMT and others are committed to supporting those workers in their efforts to see that realised.
The workers at this site were let down by the Tories and by the SNP. And when it came to the day when this place shut its gates, when the workers walked out with their families, the last time in the 163 years this site closed, the Tories and the SNP were nowhere to be seen. Even though they'd failed to act, they'd failed to intervene, and they point blank refused to save this site, which is crucial to sustaining Scotland's rolling stock on our railways. They couldn't even show up on the day and look these workers in the eyes and say, sorry, I didn't do enough. And that's not acceptable. And that shouldn't be tolerated anymore. I'm standing for election next year here in Maryhill and Springburn, the area I was born and brought up in. I believe it's absolutely vital, and it's part of Scottish Labour's vision for this country. Jobs for good, fairer jobs, better jobs, greener jobs. We need a green industrial revolution. Climate change is one of the greatest threats we are facing, and we need a Green New Deal, and the road to that Green New Deal runs through a place like the Calley, investing in transport, investing in renewables. And frankly, I don't trust the SNP. I don't trust the SNP to stand up for workers. I know the Tories are against workers, it's in their DNA, but time and time again, throughout this whole crisis, this horrible period of time we're living through, when the SNP have the choice between standing up for workers, standing up for renters, actually standing up for the people who vote for them, they side with the Tories and they side with the ruling class. And I've had enough of it. I'm so fed up of it. I'm fed up of workers being let down by this lot. And we need a new generation in the Scottish Parliament that's going to stand up for workers and says enough's enough, and is going to fight to bring back jobs to Springburn, jobs for good, and is never going to forget what happened here a year ago. The efforts of their trade unions and the others who campaigned so hard to save this site, and that fight still goes on. And if I'm elected, it's my #1 priority to bring jobs back to the Calley. Rally round the Calley.